Hi there, homemakers. Ever find yourself at the end of the day feeling totally spent, yet wondering, did I really get anything done or am I doing enough? If that thoughts ever crossed your mind, I'm so glad you're here because let's face it, this feeling of being overwhelmed often gets brushed aside, but it can be so real, especially in homemaking where the work is constant and it's easy to feel like you're falling short. So today, I want to share some of my personal struggles of being a beginner homemaker, along with my best strategies that have helped me feel more grounded, productive, and less anxious in this role. Homemaking is a tough job, and honestly, it's easy to scroll through social media and see only the beautiful, polished moments of homemaking, like perfectly organized kitchens, happy families, and spotless rooms. For those of us who are new to this path, it can feel discouraging, like we'll never reach that level of perfection. Sometimes it even makes you question your own abilities as a mom, a wife, or a homemaker, leaving you to wonder if you're doing enough or if you're somehow falling short in comparison. What I really want to say is that behind those picture perfect images, reality can look quite different. And that's a reality many of us experience but don't often talk about. So it's time to bring those honest moments to light and share what homemaking really feels like day to day. Today I'm taking you along as I dive into some projects. I will be making a fresh loaf of bread and baking some cheesy breadsticks for my son's snack. Beyond that, I have a lot to get through, like planning my weekly chores, creating my weekly meal plan, and tackling a mountain of laundry to clean and fold. While I work through all this, I will be sharing my personal insights and some tips that have helped me stay focused and a bit more relaxed. And I want to say up front that I'm definitely not perfect at this. I am still young and learning as I go, but sharing what works for me keeps me motivated to improve. These tips have made a real difference for me, and I hope they help you find a bit of relief and direction too. They aren't just for beginners like myself. I think even seasoned homemakers and working moms balancing full-time jobs and homemaking might find something useful. I'd love to hear your own experiences too. What's been the hardest part of your homemaking journey and what helped you manage it? So let's support each other in the comments. Now let's dive into my first tip, which is all about remembering why you want to be a homemaker. I chose this one first because I think it's crucial to stay connected to our motivations, especially when things get tough. When I find myself feeling overwhelmed, I always try to take a step back and remember why I chose this path in the first place. Reflecting on what brought me to this journey gives me a sense of clarity and grounds me when the overwhelm sets in. For me, there's a joy in those everyday little things like making a cozy dinner or trying a new recipe on a rainy afternoon or setting up the house so everyone feels comfortable. It might seem small, but it all adds up and it feels like you're building something meaningful day by day. I truly love homemaking. Surprisingly, it felt like it came naturally to me, even though for most of my life I saw myself as a career focused person. From a young age, I was overly ambitious, driven by the belief that all women should strive to climb the corporate ladder. However, as the years went by, I found myself daydreaming about home life instead of the office. I was good at my job, but the constant pressure to compete, achieve bonuses, and earn promotions started feeling like too much. It required this assertive, almost aggressive energy that I just didn't have. Every day felt like a battle, and honestly, it was exhausting. As an introvert who's naturally more soft spoken and gentle and shy, I struggled a lot with the need to constantly assert myself, push forward, and compete to stand out. Despite the challenges of the office, my heart was always at home. I would often dream about cooking new recipes and creating an organized, inviting space that felt truly mine. It wasn't about perfection, it was about finding that sense of peace and purpose. And homemaking has given me a happiness and fulfillment I never quite felt in the office. Even with long hours, waking up at 5:30 in the morning, commuting, and getting home around 7 p.m., I always prioritized taking care of my home. I wanted healthy, home cooked meals, a clean space, and an organized household. Even with limited time, that's where I felt most authentic and fulfilled. But embracing homemaking fully means acknowledging the hard days too, the times when the tasks feel endless or motivation runs low. I think it's important to pause and reconnect with our own reason for choosing this path. What truly brings us joy in this journey? Taking a moment to reflect on my motivations helps me find satisfaction in creating a space where everyone feels at ease, even on challenging days. When I reconnect with why I chose this path, it always reminds me that every small effort adds to something meaningful. This little reset, taking a moment to remember what I am building and why, can make all the difference when things feel overwhelming. My second tip is pick your battles. Each of us has different priorities as homemakers, and that's what makes each home unique. For some, the focus might be keeping a spotless home or homeschooling, while for others, it's all about building a self-sustaining lifestyle, growing food, raising animals, or learning homesteading skills. The key is knowing what feels most essential for you. When starting out, this helps keep things manageable because trying to master every aspect of homemaking right away can feel overwhelming and lead to burnout. Instead, it's about letting each priority grow at a pace that's comfortable. As you get more practiced and confident in one area, you'll often find that adding new responsibilities becomes easier. But at the beginning, focusing on one or two core areas will help you stay grounded and able to enjoy the process. It's a journey of evolving skills where you slowly build the routines that feel right for your household. So take it step by step and remember, it's okay not to do it all at once. In the beginning, I was so excited that I dove into everything at once, often chaotically. I was raising a newborn, cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, juggling it all. Somewhere in the mix, I also got inspired to start baking with sourdough, even though I'd never been much of a baker before. And because I can be a little too ambitious, I also decided one day to try making croissants from scratch. It's a super labor intensive process, and let's just say it wasn't the best timing. Also got into embroidery and culturing dairy products around the same time. It was a whirlwind of new projects, and honestly, it felt a bit like I was trying to juggle too many balls in the air. Each skill required time and focus, and when you're also managing the demands of a newborn, it became incredibly challenging. My priorities at that moment were to care for my baby, ensure we had healthy meals, and maintain some semblance of order in our home. I quickly realized that while my enthusiasm was high, my ability to keep up with everything was not. It taught me a lot about the importance of pacing myself and recognizing my limits. Moving on to tip number 3, planning. I know this topic can be a bit controversial. Some people absolutely despise it. But here's the thing, homemaking is both a passion and a job, and it deserves that kind of attention. While some folks can tackle their chores without a plan, for many of us, especially at the beginning, taking a moment to outline our day according to our priorities is super helpful. I personally love planning because it keeps me accountable. Writing down my tasks and even assigning time slots allows me to visualize what I need to do. Tasks that once felt insurmountable, like decluttering the garage or swapping out seasonal wardrobes, suddenly become manageable. I like to divide my planning into 3 sections: monthly, weekly, and daily, while leaving some space for unexpected tasks that might pop up. For example, I plan my deep cleaning schedule on a monthly basis and create my meal plan each Saturday for the upcoming week. My laundry routine and light cleaning tasks are mapped out weekly. On a daily basis, I handle smaller tasks like knowing I need to bake bread once or twice a week. I usually aim to do my baking towards the end of the week, like on Thursdays or Fridays, but I can't nail down a specific day because my toddler's needs often dictate my baking schedule. Some days are great for baking, while others are a bit more chaotic. Each morning, I check my schedule for the day while sipping on my coffee and add small tasks I might otherwise forget. For example, today I remembered I need to water my plants and adjust my egg and dairy subscription. Although it's tempting to skip writing down such small tasks, thinking I'll remember them, I often end up forgetting. So I make a point to jot down everything, even the most trivial tasks. If you're interested in a more detailed look at how I plan, prioritize tasks, and allocate time slots, just let me know in the comments, and I'd love to share more in a future video if that sounds valuable to you. In conclusion, having some kind of plan, even if it's not overly detailed, can be incredibly beneficial in homemaking. For those of us like me who thrive on structure, a detailed planner helps reduce anxiety and provides clarity in daily tasks. However, I understand that some people prefer a more laid-back approach, and that's perfectly okay too. The key is finding a balance that works for you. Whether it's a comprehensive outline or a simple to-do list, having a plan in place, however loose, can make the daily chaos feel much more manageable. Tip number 4 is all about starting early. I've found that tackling tasks early in the day can really help ease anxiety and stress. When I let everything pile up until the end of the day, it feels overwhelming. There's this tendency to think, oh, I still have time, but that often leads to procrastination, which can snowball quickly. By starting my day early, I give myself a head start and it sets a positive tone for the rest of my day. It's all about creating that sense of accomplishment and reducing last minute stress. Going to bed early and waking up early has been a total game changer for me. It's easy to fall into the trap of staying up late, binge watching shows, or scrolling through social media, especially when you're at home and there's no rush to get up in the morning. But I've learned that this habit can leave me feeling groggy and unproductive the next day. By treating my homemaking routine like a normal job, setting a bedtime and waking up with intention, I create a more structured and energetic start to my day. Waking up early gives me that precious quiet time to gather my thoughts, sip on my coffee, and dive into my tasks with a fresh mind. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by everything that needs to be done, I feel more prepared and motivated to tackle my day. It's amazing how much lighter and more focused I feel when I start my day early, and I've noticed that it really helps me manage my time better. By establishing this routine, I can fit in all the little things I want to accomplish without the stress of rushing at the last minute. Now let's get to tip number 5. Find a routine that works for you. I think this is essential in making homemaking feel more manageable. It's important to experiment with different systems and methods while remaining open to trying new approaches. For instance, I once tried a more flexible approach to meal planning, where I would only decide on the types of meat I would use for the week without actually planning the full meals around them. I thought this would simplify things, but it turned out to be a bit of a disaster. Living in a small house with limited pantry space made it difficult to have all the necessary ingredients on hand to create complete meals. And without a vegetable garden to rely on, I often found myself stuck without the right sides or extras to go with the protein I had thought. While this method may work wonders for families with larger kitchens and ample storage, it just didn't suit my situation. What I found truly effective for my household is planning each meal in detail, mapping out exactly what we'll eat for dinner. This way, I can ensure I have everything I need and avoid those last minute scrambles. It's about finding what feels right for you, accepting that some things may not work, and being open to adjusting your approach. Embracing this process not only reduces stress but also helps create a more enjoyable homemaking experience. Now, let's dive into our next tip: being realistic in your expectations and avoiding comparison. Honestly, in a world saturated with social media, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others, especially in the realm of homemaking. We see beautifully curated homes, gourmet meals, and seemingly perfect routines, which can make us feel a little bit behind. What I'm trying to say here is it's easy to feel isolated in this struggle. We might see others thriving in their roles, but behind those pictures, many are facing the same frustrations and challenges. The messiness of life, those moments when the kids spill something or you realize dinner plans fell through, can leave us feeling defeated, but it's essential to remember that these experiences are completely normal. What really helped me was learning to remind myself that there are many people just starting their homemaking journey too. While some may have it all together, others are still figuring things out just like me. It's so important to let go of that perfectionist mindset. Instead of beating myself up for not achieving every goal perfectly, I focus on celebrating the small wins and appreciating where I am right now. Setting realistic goals has been a game changer for me. I've accepted that it's okay to work on one area at a time rather than trying to master everything all at once. I also try to say no to activities or commitments that don't serve my goals or disrupt my peace. This way, I can dedicate my energy to the things that truly matter to me and my family. In the end, it's all about doing your best and finding joy in the process, even when it gets messy. Next up is tip number 7. Ask for help. This tip is closely connected to the last one about managing your expectations. Accepting that you need help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a recognition that homemaking is a shared responsibility and a team effort. When I embrace this mindset, I find that it creates a sense of connection with my family. And let's dive a little deeper into this. My husband works a demanding office job and often returns home feeling exhausted. Despite that, he always makes an effort to be involved in our home life. It means so much to me that he prioritizes helping out with tasks even when he's had a long day. For example, he takes out the responsibility of giving our son his baths, which not only eases my load but also creates those precious bonding moments for them. While he handles bath time, I can focus on tidying up the kitchen after dinner, something I find essential for starting the next day fresh. By leaning on each other and sharing responsibilities, we make our home life feel more manageable. It's comforting to know I'm not tackling everything alone, and it reinforces the idea that we are a team. As we wrap up today's video, I hope you found these tips helpful. Remember, it's all about finding what works best for you, making small changes, and celebrating the progress you're making each day. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll love exploring more of my content. I've created a playlist with some of my most helpful videos, perfect for homemaking inspiration. You'll find practical guides like how I stock my pantry and freezer for winter, make freezer meals for busy days, and create cozy dinners on a budget. These videos are filled with tips to help you create a warm, well-prepared home. To check out the playlist, click on the little icon that appears in the upper right corner of your screen. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the challenges you face as a homemaker, and do you have any tips that have helped you? Let's support each other in the comments.